For somebody who's dating a person who thrives on attention from their SO, Akashi doesn't like to go on dates all that often. He would rather be at his house cuddling and watching a movie with 𝙰𝙬𝙀. Once he got the message about the challenge, he decided to do it, knowing that 𝙰𝙀𝙀 would want results. And if he didn't get his results, they would make Akashi do something else. Probably worse. Kashi, did you enjoy our date? Yes, Bo. 𝙰𝙬𝙀 had convinced Akashi to go out on a date with him. It was more like him begging until the other gave in. They were in 𝙰𝙬𝙀's car, driving back to Akashi's house. When 𝙰𝙬𝙀 was driving, it became a habit to reach over and hold on to Kashi's thigh. Do you think you'd want to do this again? Kashi picked up 𝙰𝙬𝙀's hand and put it next to his thigh. He turned his head to look out of the windshield, not wanting to see if 𝙰𝙬𝙀 noticed or not. They were stopped at a red light, so there was a little time before he put his hand back to shift gears. Once they were moving again, 𝙰𝙬𝙀 put his hand back on his boyfriend's thigh. You never answered my question. What? The question I asked a couple of minutes ago. Oh, sorry. What was it? Would you like to do this again? What? Go on a date? Yeah. 𝙰𝙬𝙀's response made Akashi smile a little bit. You say that like that was our first date, and that we haven't been dating for a while now. 𝙰𝙬𝙀's face flushed at his words. He couldn't take his eyes off the road to look at him. He knew that now after Kashi instructed him to do so, after they had almost crashed. 𝙰𝙬𝙀 put his hand back on his thigh once they had started moving again. Akashi let his hand sit there for a while as he contemplated moving it again. He picked up 𝙰𝙬𝙀's hand again and placed it beside him. A quick glance towards his boyfriend revealed the frown on his face. 𝙰𝙬𝙀 looked at his hand, Akashi's thigh, and then Akashi. Bo, keep your eyes on the road. Oh, sorry. Once again, he put his hands back on the gear shift, just to hold on to something. Akashi was looking out the window when he felt something grab onto his leg, tighter than before. He picked up his hand and threw it away from him. Akashi looked at 𝙰𝙀𝙀 out of the side of his eye and saw his shoulders slumped forward and he was pouting. Kashi. You don't like it? Akashi pulled out his phone and started to scroll through it, not responding and not looking up. 𝙰𝙬𝙀 sighed and kept his hand on the gear shift until he pulled up into the driveway. Bye baby owl. Kashi looked up from his phone for the first time and looked over at his boyfriend who was giving him a sad smile. His shoulders still slumped as if he was pouting. You're not coming in. 𝙰𝙬𝙀 looked away without responding. He got out of the car and walked around to the driver's side window and stuck his head in. He kissed 𝙰𝙬𝙀 on his cheek before smiling at him. I take your pouting as a no. I thought you were mad at me. Why? You kept moving my hand. I thought you didn't like it. Kashi leaned in and kissed him again. No, I don't mind when you do it. Then why? It was another challenge. Again. Come on, get out of the car. 𝙰𝙬𝙀 looked away and huffed. Come on Bo, I'll let you stay so you can cuddle me. All night. Not all night. We have practice tomorrow. But most of the night. Knowing both of them that was a lie. They would end up falling asleep together cuddling in Akashi's room. And with 𝙰𝙬𝙀 refusing to get up to go to school the next morning. Daichi had picked up Sugora to take him on a surprise date. Wait, what? Just get ready, I'll be there to pick you up in an hour. Daichi wait. The phone had been hung up and Sugar was now left to get ready, with only an hour. After dates, the couple was typically more affectionate and generally just wanted to be near or touch each other. They were back in the car, Daichi driving back to Suga's house to drop him off. It was then that Sugar had checked the group chat and had seen the message about 𝙰𝙀𝙀's new challenge, which he would not be participating in by the way. Fucking asshole. Daichi looked over at his boyfriend who was holding his phone as if it was going to fly away. Whoa, Sugar, what's wrong? Nothing. Just a message from Hinata. Oh. What did he say that's got you all worked up? He and Kajima went to the gym today and they stayed late. I just don't want them to overwork themselves. Daichi squeezed his partner's thigh affectionately. You can't really tell those two anything. They are dedicated. It's what makes them go together. You can't really say that when they are almost always arguing about something. Besides the arguing, they both laughed and it returned to being silent, with small talk between the two. Sugar was looking out the window when he decided to make his first move. He crossed his legs and allowed Daichi's hand to just fall to his side. Sugar glanced in his boyfriend's direction and saw him frown, but didn't look at him. He returned his eyes to the window. It was a little while and his hand had not been placed back on his thigh. Sugar had uncrossed his legs by now and he was sitting normally. Huh? Why won't he put it back? He normally can't stand when I move his hands off of me. His thoughts were interrupted when Daichi returned his hand to its previous position. And there it is. Sugora didn't do anything just yet, but he knew that he didn't exactly have a lot of time. They were going to be approaching his house soon. He sighed and once again crossed his legs, but not enough for Daichi's hand to slip off. So, Sugar brushed his hand off. He tried playing it off as if he was dusting something off of his pants, letting his hand fall to his side again. Daichi frowned again, but after the second time, he didn't make any other attempt to put his hand back. His hand only moved whenever he needed to shift gears, but he almost immediately put it back near Sugora's leg, but not physically touching him. They had pulled up in front of Suga's house and Daichi looked over at him with a small smile. What's up with him? He seems too happy. Did he catch on? Hey, Sugar. Yeah. You're not mad at me, are you? No. Why? Daichi looked away and his face flushed red. Oh my god, is he embarrassed? What is it? You can tell me. Why did you keep moving my hand away from you? You were doing it on purpose, right? Or was it an accident? Yeah, it was on purpose. I didn't do anything wrong, did I? No. Daichi clearly looked confused and Sugar was absolutely enjoying this a little bit more. Then why? Sugora leaned over to kiss him before getting out of the car. He walked over to the driver's side window and rested his arms in the window. It was another challenge. 𝙁𝚄𝚂𝙸𝙲. Daichi scoffed and rolled his eyes in response, making his boyfriend laugh a little bit. Sugar kissed him again before telling him goodnight and walking back into his house. Kenma had just gotten the message in their group chat, from Haikyuu, obviously, about a new challenge he had for them, which he wasn't even going to do. Then why do we have to do it? Kenma sighed as he was getting into Kiru's car. Kiru had dragged him out of his house to go out and grab something to eat with him. Kenma had managed to not touch his phone the entire time they were at the cafe, but now that he was back in the car, he was staring at the message debating whether or not to do the challenge. Hey kitten, what's up? Nothing. He put his phone in his hoodie pocket before looking up again. Sorry for dragging you out. Are you though? Yes and no. No, because you need to get out of the house more often and stop staying inside your room all of the time. All you do is play your games in the dark. But I like playing my games. Yes kitten, I know, which is why I don't like to drag you out that often. Thanks for taking my hobbies into your consideration. You're welcome. Kiru started driving back to Kenma's house so that he could drop him off. Normally, while driving, Kiru's hand being on Kenma's thigh was comforting to both of them. Kiru liked having something to hold on to while he was driving. Kenma liked the feeling, the weight of his hand being on his thigh. Contrary to the belief of many, Kenma didn't mind going out. He liked going, but he would prefer if someone he found comforting was there with him as well. Specifically Kiru. Kiru was comforting to Kenma and that's pretty much all he needed. A comfort factor. Anyway, back to them in the car. Kenma, are you still here with me? What? Yeah, I just zoned out. Kiru rubbed his hand along his thigh and tightened his hold. Kenma turned his whole body toward the window, making his hand slip off of his thigh. He pulled his phone out of his pocket and acted like he was playing a game, facing away from him. Kiru didn't immediately put his hand back. Kenma looked over his shoulder and saw that Kiru hadn't even moved his hand at all. Did he even notice? Kenma turned back around so that his body was facing forward in the seat. After he did that, Kiru put his hand back on Kenma's thigh. Again, Kenma looked up at his boyfriend, who was smiling a little bit. Kiru, what are you smiling at? Nothing. Why? Who smiles at nothing? Who zones out in the middle of a conversation with their totally amazingly awesome boyfriend? A lot of people would. No, they wouldn't. Yes, they would, especially if their boyfriend is as obnoxious and cocky as you are. Lies. The truth. Kenma brushed Kiru's hand off of his thigh in mock irritation. In response to the gesture, Kiru gasped dramatically. Kitten, how could you? You already moved it once. I'm not your cat, you can't just pet me. But I'm not petting you. Kiru reached his hand out towards him to try and put it back where it was, but Kenma was not cooperating. He kept moving around and evading his hand like it was poisonous or he would die by his touch or something. Kenma, be still. Kiru, pay attention to driving. Stop trying to grab for me. I wouldn't have to keep grabbing at you if you would just be still. So, if we crash it'll be your fault. What? Kenma slumped back down in the seat, defeated. Kiru placed his hand back on Kenma's thigh. See, that wasn't that hard. Shut up. 𝚄𝚂𝙴𝙳 and Atsumu had been out shopping. It was mainly Atsumu holding up clothes and forcing 𝚄𝚂𝙴 into changing rooms. Why are we buying clothes? We were coming out to buy you some new volleyball shoes. Shush shush, just go put on the shirt. They had finally made their way around to the shoes, and every time they walked past something yellow, black, or both, 𝚄𝚂𝙴 would pick it up, saying, hey, this reminds me of you. It brings out the bee in you. And Atsumu almost always replies with, Omi, I swear to God I'm not a fucking bee. Stop it. Once they had finally picked out new volleyball shoes for Atsumu, yes they were black and yellow, 𝚄𝚂𝙴 was driving the both of them back to his house. While driving, it was now a spoken habit of 𝚄𝚂𝙴's to hold Atsumu's thigh. Atsumu would tease him about it, but when he threatened to remove his hand he always shut up almost immediately. Anyways, back in the car, 𝚄𝚂𝙴 didn't have his hand on Atsumu yet, but Atsumu wasn't paying any attention to him, as he was doing something on his phone. When Kyumi had actually put his hand on his thigh, it scared Tsumu a little bit. He actually flinched. Why did you flinch so hard? Did I scare you or something? Of course you didn't. Atsumu brushed the hand off of him, without saying anything, and while trying not to laugh. I didn't scare you, huh? No, not at all. Then why did you move my hand? Because I was doing you a favor. I'm not as clean as you, and I don't want you to have to worry about my germs. That doesn't even make any sense. If I was so worried about germs I wouldn't even have gone out with you today. Or really? It's because you love me, right? I didn't even say that. You don't have to say it. It's written all over your face. That makes even less sense, Tsumu. He reached over again and put his hand on his thigh. This time without any resistance. It was quiet for a little bit until Atsumu decided to start talking. Omi. Yes. Why are you touching me? What? Why are you touching me? Again. Why are you so adamant about me not touching you? I already told you. It's because I don't want you to have my germs. 𝚄𝚂𝙴 sighed and ran his hand through his hair, messing up his curls in the process. I think it's a little bit too late to be worried about your germs. Oh really? Why? Because, first of all, you shed like a dog. I do not. Yes you do. There's your hair all over my clothes, especially my sweatshirts. Second, I'm always with you. If you had some type of infectious disease I would have caught it already. I don't shed, Omi. Kyumi laughed. His real laugh. Not the one he used at school around friends, but the one that literally only Komori and Atsumu heard. That's really the only thing that you're worried about. Yes, because it's not true. 𝚄𝚂𝙴 moved his hand so that it was hovering over Atsumu's thigh and then glanced at him. Fine. Fine. Can I put my hand back now? Maybe. Under one condition. Kyumi yanked his hand back. Never mind. My hand doesn't need your thigh. What? I haven't even said anything yet. And you don't have to. Your conditions are always horrible. Not this time. You didn't even know what I was going to say. 𝚄𝚂𝙴 sighed, and his grip tightened around the steering wheel. Fine. What is it? I was going to say that there weren't going to be any conditions. Then why I was just joking, Omi. You can put your hand back. As soon as the words left his mouth, Sakusa's hand was on his thigh. Jeez, clingy much. I don't want to hear it from you.
And it goes a little something like